Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
And you. Um, shall we open with some news? So this isn't coming out until after the Easter holidays. So it's going
No.
to seem a little bit behind the times. However, George has got some really exciting news.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I now have a two-book deal with Scarlet Press, which was completely unexpected. It all came out of London Book Fair. I'm still in a bit of a daze about it. I think, yeah, it still hasn't quite hit, but it's been amazing and it's been a ride. And it is for, because the book is out there. There's a hold-in book jacket. So it's for a book about a Gen Z vampire called Asher Devereaux, who is strapped for cash. He can't pay his rent. City living is expensive. So he starts an OnlyFans where he offers packages like the Edward or the Lestat. And it's called OnlyFangs.
Oh, I was going to do
So,
a drum roll then. I was
oh,
going to like,
sorry. So I was talking about it today and somebody said, is it for children? And I was like, no, obviously not. Why would you think it was for children? Anyway, so
no,
yeah.
definitely not.
But it's been really weird. And the day that I kind of first heard that this was on the cards, I was at work and I was covering lunch break. So I wasn't even at my desk, didn't have my phone. And this is really cute. I was on the second floor of my library where I work, and I was helping an old man find books on creative writing because he wanted to write a novel.
Oh,
And he was saying that he's written loads already, but he doesn't want to show it to anybody. And his wife keeps asking and all this sort of stuff. So I was kind of like, we requested Save the Cat and all this sort of stuff. And we were talking about his writing journey. And then when I went back up to my office, my phone had blown up and Lauren was like, my agent, she was like, I really would like to talk to you.
oh.
So yeah, it was just crazy.
Just
So
wild. For anyone listening who isn't aware of like how these things work, it's whenever London Book Fair comes around, or there's Bologna Book Fair and Frankfurt Book Fair in kids' books. Whenever they come around, they come with like this flurry of announcements, and they're always about the next big book, and it's a six-figure deal. And sometimes it can make you feel a bit like, why have I not
yeah.
got all of these things right now? But then having been in the industry a few years, you realize that those deals are often made all through the year and
Hmm.
then kind of saved up and announced at the book fair to create interest, which of course is sensible from a marketing point of view. Drives you insane from like a person point of view when you just want to talk about your book deal. And the dream is for your agent to go, oh, I'm just going to mention this
Yeah.
book at the book fair, and then you get a six-figure deal on the day. And that is exactly what just happened to you. Like
Yeah.
it was 24 hours, wasn't it? Start to finish,
It was, yeah, like
preempt.
like I said, completely wild. And I Lauren had put it on the her hot list.
Yeah.
So and I think it had gone down quite well. Have to say as well, Josh Winning, thank you for the title, because he
Oh,
came up with the title. But yeah, having spoken to Lauren since, she said, there was a lot of chat about it just because it's like, I think it's such a great pitch. And even when I've
yeah.
mentioned it to people who aren't in publishing, they're like, that's great.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a lot of different things and great timing. And yeah, it just happened. Like it was just completely unexpected. That is the dream, and to
Yeah.
to get a preempt and for it all to just be announced immediately, and it's all out there. So yeah, we'll have to talk about it in more detail
Yeah.
sometime, won't we?
We will do.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's just
wild.
crazy.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah,
But I remember we went on retreat in January
yeah.
with Josh and with Melissa Welliver. And I
Hmm.
remember sitting around the table in that house and you saying, right, I've got this one and I've got this one and I don't know which one to write. And you kind
Yeah,
of pitched them both to us and we all went, it's
yeah. That one.
OnlyFans is the what? Like you have to.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun to write. And I was writing something else, which I really enjoyed. It was another rom-com, but I was just kept saying it doesn't have vampires in it. Like
yeah,
it just yeah.
it's
So
the
it
dream. Like,
is.
you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm so proud. I'm
I
so
know,
excited.
I know. Thank you. Yeah,
It is
it's been
exciting.
lovely. And that's been the thing. I think it's such a hard slog publishing, and there's times where you think this isn't going to happen for me. And I've had such a long period of nothing, such a long period of nothing. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I've got two books out this year, and then this like massive, exciting deal out of the blue. And so I'm just busy, busy, busy. And of course, having the fear like, can I pull it off? Will I deliver it? Which is all normal
Yeah,
and
exactly.
natural.
And
So,
I think you're in the position that I found myself in where you sold a book that was not fully written yet.
no, that's
And
right.
that's quite scary because you're like,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, yeah,
However,
that's
it's
it.
with somebody who knows what you can
Yeah,
do. So that's
yes.
always helpful.
Yeah, that's true. And that was part of the decision, I think, to go with it all. And because obviously it was lovely, Yaz,
Yeah.
from Simon Schuster. So who I've known really through you, and that's how I first met her, like years ago now. And it just shows like it's about timing and building those relationships. And do you remember when we spoke with Holly Webb? She was on here and she was like, when you're working in publishing, like you need to just be really nice and polite to everybody that you meet
Yeah.
because there's so much movement. And I mean that's true of any job, I think. Just
I think just life, isn't it?
yeah, just
Yeah.
life. Yeah,
Just be
because you
nice.
just yeah, just be nice, but with no ulterior motive, but you never know where these things go. And because
No.
I've got something else as well that still hasn't been announced, which is all kind of, part of this because we've sort of been dropping little hints in the last few podcasts about it. So, and I feel like that has played a big part in what's happened as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. Anyway, thank
Yeah.
you. I've had a
You're
whole
welcome.
whole introduction all to
Yeah,
myself.
I know.
Yeah, but shall I introduce? Oh, do you want to talk about Scream or should we leave that till next time? We
I
probably
don't
need more time.
I don't have the energy. Very quickly, I'll show you what I'm reading or what is next on
Yes.
my TBR because I am
Yeah.
drafting and I am like in that insane final third, madly drafting. So I'm not reading anything.
Mm.
But I've got The Heirs
Ooh,
by Farida, who is not a friend of the pod yet,
not yet.
but she might be in the future.
Yeah.
But she is someone that I've got to know over the last few years. We're actually both doing the same event in Ghent in Belgium over Easter. So by the time this
Oh,
comes out,
she's gonna be there too. Oh, that's
yeah.
cool.
So I feel like I've got a friend, I've got
Yeah,
somebody
that'll
who
be
I can navigate
nice.
with. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, this is her next thriller. Even the proof is gorgeous. And I
I know.
think
I was gonna say, is that the proof?
they were all different covers for like each member of the family. It sounds like the
Mm.
Von Trapps with murder.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah, so looking forward to reading that one.
I I'm a bit like you. I can't focus at the moment because I'm doing all these different things. But we have fallen in love in this house with, do you recognize
Is
these?
it Katie Kirby?
Yes, Lottie
Yeah. Oh,
Brooks.
sorry.
We,
Yes, Katie Kirby's the author.
yes, and the character is Lottie Brooks, obviously. And we cannot get these fast enough from the library.
Ah,
And I kept hearing my daughter, lovely hearing your kids reading a book and just giggling. And she keeps calling me and saying, Mummy, can I tell you something? Mummy, can I tell you
oh,
something? And then she reads this thing out and it's so funny. So I've started at the beginning because I'm like, I need to be, part of this.
yeah.
So yes, absolutely loving it. And we should try and get Katie Kirby on.
Well, her editor is lovely Carmen at Penguin, who I know, and who is, I think she acquired those books and she is fully like Team Lottie. She will talk to you all
Oh,
day about Lottie Brooks and
genius.
she just loves it and they do so well. And
Yeah.
you're right, like anything that gets kids giggling. My nephew at the minute has found one of his sister's old Wimpy Kids books.
Oh.
And he's not a reader, but he's a 9-year-old
Mm.
boy and he likes the computer and he plays a lot of sports and he just doesn't have the time. and he just keeps sending me little updates of, I'm on page 60 now, I'm on page 100 now. And
Oh,
he's just loving it, and he's kind of carrying it around with him. And it's really lovely. So I'm going to get him Josh Winning. I think I've ordered it already, actually. Josh Winning's How to Train Your Zombie. So I
yes,
feel like
perfect.
if he likes that wimpy kid kind of style, he's going to love that
Yeah,
book.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think I've read a couple of chapters of early zombie, and it's brilliant. It's perfect. Like it's so much fun. It's exactly what you think it's going to be. So, yeah, we'll
lovely.
have to get Josh on to talk about it when it comes out.
We will.
Right, shall we get so today our guest is SJ Poyton and she's Sally, I think. She's been making up stories since she was a child and recording them in pictures and badly spelt wobbly words. Her first book was a comic about a bee, and I think her new book, The Mammoth Rider, I think it came out last week because I saw lots of gorgeous pictures on Instagram because it seems like she had the most funnest book launch ever because there was a woolly mammoth there and there was woolly mammoth like cupcakes and I think there was woolly mammoth awards as well. So I'm
Oh,
really looking forward to chatting to her. And I'm hoping that she's going to talk to us about doing research into woolly mammoths.
yes, and archaeology, because I
Yes,
saw that on her
yes.
bio.
Hi, Sally.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
How are you doing?
Oh, really good. And thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're
Thank
very
you.
welcome. We just said we're excited to hear about woolly mammoths, hopefully. Um, and I saw on your bio that you have done a little bit of paleoarchaeology as
Yes.
well. So I did
Yes.
an archaeology degree, but a long time ago, and it was human archaeology.
Yes. Rather than
So
the paleo dead animals. Oh, yeah.
yeah, so I'm
Al-
excited to hear about it.
Although we did find like hand access, so it was kind
Nice.
of a bit between. So yeah, it was good.
Were they the same era?
It was really fascinating. So this is the site that was made famous by the BBC documentary Attenborough and the Mammoth Graveyard, which you can still see on iPlayer. And I was invited by Sally and Dr. Nev Hollingworth, who were the people that found the site. And they've run three paleo digs there. Um, Last year, 2024 and 2023, the biggest paleo digs, I think, ever to take place in Europe. So,
Wow.
like 200 volunteers per year from over 20 universities from across the world. Students came from, world experts, like people with no knowledge, really, like me. Um, but it was like time traveling through the gravel, actually, because you could be one side and you'd be in the Ice Age stuff and pulling up like mammoth teeth and hand axes. And then you walked like 25 meters and you'd be in the Jurassic and they'd be pulling up like Annamites and Jurassic marine reptiles. And like, so it was fascinating. You were
Wow.
literally time traveling. It was a
Wow.
fantastic experience.
Oh,
Wow.
that just
So
makes my little geek heart
I
just
know,
melt like,
yeah.
oh,
But you're like this
Cynthia's
then, because
face,
I've
she
got
was,
this here.
yeah.
Not found from
Oh,
there,
oh my
but they
oh,
gosh.
but this is one of the things I take into schools. This is a baby woolly mammoth tooth.
oh my
Uh,
gosh.
Don't
Oh
worry, the
my
baby would have
gosh.
been fine because they had like six sets of teeth. So,
Oh
like,
Right.
wow.
they probably would have had something from the Mammoth Tooth Fairy for this.
Of course they
So,
did.
so
Oh,
yeah. So, I take this round, and the kids love it. I
I
don't
Oh,
take an
bet.
adult one because the adult ones are like
mm.
two hands and really heavy. So,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
For anybody that's not watching, I haven't seen Cynthia so delighted in quite some time. Like her face is absolutely
I feel
like
like I'm going
just
to
lit
cry. Oh
up.
my God.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God. What's wrong? Oh,
um we'll go right, so we're going to come to the research
Yeah.
like otherwise
yeah.
we're just going to
Sorry.
get
Yeah.
lost
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
it.
Of
But we'll
course.
go back to the beginning because I just wanted to say
Yeah.
congratulations on your book, which we can see behind you,
Yeah.
The
I've got a
Mammoth
copy here
Rider.
too.
Did Oh, lovely. Did it was it last week was your launch
It was
or the week
the
before?
12th of March. Yeah.
March, yeah.
So a
And
few
I was
weeks ago
just
now.
saying to Cynthia that it looked like a lot of fun because there was woolly mammoth cupcakes and was there one that people could pose with as well?
Yes, so this was actually my husband who went. Uh, so we went to an exhibition last year at the Craniums Museum, which was an exhibition of the stuff from the paleontology dig, and there they had Dinomania, which you might have seen. They're doing something with Steve Batshaw on tour with him at the Deadly 60, but they've been on television very recently in The
Oh.
Dragon's Den. And
Mm.
basically, they go around in schools and they bring like animatronic dinosaurs, but they had this huge inflatable mammoth that was mammoth size, like literally. And my husband looked at it and went, "You need one of those for your school
Ah,
visits."
Yeah.
And so we did. We actually got one, but not that big because most schools and certainly bookshops can't get a mammoth size inflatable. But we've got one that's 6 foot tall. So like literally bring it into schools and it figuratively breaks the ice with the kids because there's like this mammoth there and then he goes to sleep because he's a bit noisy. And then comes awake again if they've been good. But we took him along to the launch, and so everybody loved it. And the
Yeah.
yes.
launch was like lots of people from my writing, from family and friends to my paleo pals of Task Force. So yeah, there was a lot of love for the fact that there was an
Oh.
inflatable mammoth in the room.
Oh, I did think when you started off with that was my husband, I just
Yeah,
had an
he was
image of your
inside
husband
it.
dressed up.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I couldn't get him to dress up. He's not a dressing up type of guy, but he was like, come on, because I was in an hour and go, it's a bit expensive. And he was like, no, if you do enough school visits, it's not.
Yeah.
It will be worth the investment. And actually, it's just been brilliant. So I'm really pleased. Even though I
Yeah.
have to try and like fit it into a little box myself, and you're like punching it to get it in. So you've got to do that when the kids are not looking because that could
Mm,
traumatize them.
Yeah.
true. So how take us back to the beginning. So how did your writing journey start? You said you used to like writing stories when you were a kid. So at what
Yeah,
point did you think I think I want to do this? This is something that I want to make a real job.
it's a my journey's been a long one. So I really, really wanted to be a writer. It was the first thing I ever wanted to be. But I am severely dyslexic. I was still like reading like Peter and Jane books, or for anybody younger, kind of like Oxford Reading Tree and phonics books when I
Mm.
was 13. And I was always told that I wasn't allowed to be a writer because of the issues with my dyslexia. And when you're young and you are vulnerable, you kind of you believe that.
Mm.
The other thing I wanted to be was a paleontologist or an anthropologist or a archaeologist. And I've got dyscalculia, which means my it's like dyslexia with math. So I was told I wasn't allowed to do anything that was science based. Um, and then I loved history, wanted to be a historian, very good at it, but because I would put so much into my history studies, my other subjects would drop. I wasn't allowed to do history either. So lots of things were
Oh,
barred. And it wasn't until I had children of my own that I thought I would hate it if they thought that other people's opinions would define and limit them. So and I know exactly the day. It was February 13th. And I had two kids at home. One was very poorly, coming up 3, had to be wet wrapped on special diets, really, really poorly. The other one was just hard work because it was coming up to a year old. I could hardly walk at the time because of health issues. And my husband rung up and he said, "What are we doing tomorrow?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's got somebody to look after the children. He's taking me out for Valentine's." I was so excited. Kind of coyly went, "Nothing, why?" And he said, "Can you scan me in a copy of my passport and email it to me and pack me a bag? I'm going to Australia for 3 months."
Sorry, what?
Like, yeah,
sorry.
exactly. Like
Divorce
I've
papers
got,
in
you
that
know,
bag.
I was absolutely devastated. He was like, "I'm really sorry, I've got to do it for work." So I'm like left at home. I couldn't even get into the wine, which was dreadful because it was
Oh,
all corked. Um, and my 3-year-old said to him, "Can you buy me a kangaroo? I want a kangaroo, bring a kangaroo back." And while he was away, she kept on asking me, "How's he going to catch a kangaroo?" And I started doing things saying, how do you catch a kangaroo? Do you catch it with a rod and line? What do you use for bait? Peanut butter sandwiches or jelly and a plate?
Oh,
And started to produce a picture book, which I started to illustrate because my degree is in fine art. And at the same time, I read a book because it was back before streaming. It was back in that awkward kind of timeline where Blockbuster had gone, streaming hadn't started, DVDs cost like almost £20.
mm,
So I got a load of books from the book house. Was it the book house that did cheap books? And I read one and I loved the reading of it. I really got me back into reading. But it was a YA and the lead protagonist was really awful. She kept intentionally putting herself and her loved ones in danger. And I was like, I can do better at this. And I
Is it
started
one of my
writing.
books?
wrong era,
It's a very
Cynthia.
famous book that became a very famous set of films.
Oh, you can tell us later.
But it's and honestly, continued to read the entire series to the point where I would get it when it came in and organise Winston to go out and do things all weekend so he could just read it. So I loved the books, but I didn't think they were particularly good for teenage girls, and so I started writing a YA book looking at fairy tales, going fairy tales years back before they got edited by a precision of middle-aged white middle-class men, had much better messages for teenage girls. And I started to do like a modern take on a fairy tale, which did actually get long listed for Undiscovered Voices and The Times Chicken House. But we roll on several books later, like several dozen books later, pitch books, YA, chapter books, everything. And when the book was published, my eldest was 22 and my youngest was 20. So literally my journey to publication is the same as raising a child to adulthood.
Oh.
It's been a long journey with lots of ups and
Oh,
downs, but lots of amazing people met along the way.
mm. I felt really emotional listening to you
Me
talk
too.
about that.
Yeah.
Gosh, I think it was the at the very start. Sorry, I can't even get it out. Gosh, I don't know what's wrong with me today. But everybody telling you can't do that because of
Oh,
Yeah,
this. And you
yeah,
and you're absolutely right. You think now, and like Cynthia's a teacher, and I know she would never dream
not
of
anymore.
telling any of her, yeah,
yeah.
any of her students like that you can't do something because of this, that, and the other. And
No, the
I would,
opposite.
yeah. And so, and you just think, thank goodness you had that moment where you thought, hold on a minute, I can, and
Yeah.
I will, and you have. And you just think these people have such responsibility in our, when we're little, you get told things and you just carry it with you for your whole life. And well done, Sally. That's such
Oh,
a
thank
that's
you.
such an inspiring story. Sorry for nearly crying about it.
No, it's all right. I mean, it was a very different era because
Yeah.
I'm old now, and back then
No,
it
you're
was
not.
very different. Oh, I am. It was a very different world, and
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily the school's fault. And it took me a long time to realize that. The fact that I had, at the time, it was perceived that if you had dyslexia, you were really good at math and you were really good at sports.
Oh,
But I also had dyscalculia, so I
Oh
was not
no.
good at math. And
yeah.
I've got dyspraxia, so I was not good at sports. And
Mm.
so it wasn't until I was in further education, that I got these diagnoses. And actually, the school, they knew. And I saw the educational psychologist like once or twice a year for the entire of my schooling career. But because it was a complicated set of, at the time, misunderstood diagnosis,
Mm.
I didn't ever get that, "Ta-da, here is your
Mm.
diagnosis."
Right.
So they didn't have the access to the funds. But what they did do, and was amazing, again, you couldn't do this now, was when it came to my GCSEs, every single one of my teachers independently wrote to the exam boards with a dossier of evidence to say this child has dyslexia, please give them extra time. Now, this was a time before the internet, so they would have had to have, and none of them knew each other was doing it. They would have had to have found this stuff, typed it up probably on a computer, printed it out, photocopied stuff, and physically sent it by the Royal Mail. And they were so overwhelmed with this evidence by all of my teachers, they actually gave me 10% extra time. So my school was, I think they genuinely thought they were doing what was best for me with the provisions that they had. And their hands were tied, but all of the individual teachers themselves really did try and help me as much as that they could, and went over and above what maybe they should do. And of course, you wouldn't get that now because you've got to like jump through flaming kind of hoops of fire to get the support you need. But yeah, so I'm very grateful for all the support I've got. But it's taken me a long time to get that, and my children going through the schooling system to realise that it was difficult for them too.
Yeah.
And now, of course, if you do get a diagnosis, that's just a given. You have extra time, you might have a reader, there are all these things in place that your teachers kind of fought for that are now just the norm. But yeah, it does take a long time to get through the system unless you go into pay somebody independent, and then that doesn't always stand up with a school for an IEP. I don't think they're called IEPs anymore. But yeah, it's just...
Yeah, it's hard because I've had one go through it. And he got his report like the week that lockdown hit. So,
Great timing.
So yeah, the timing was great. But yes, so I think there are so many good things now that there is still some way to go, but there is more provision and there is more understanding, which is great. So yeah.
And I feel like there's, and like you say about your teachers individually trying to do the very best for you, I think there's still that, like at my children's school, there's the teachers there, they really care about the students, but they are so overworked, and there are no resources. And as much as they're saying we plan to do this or we want to do this, it just doesn't always happen because they are so stretched.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about the education system in a whole other podcast, couldn't we?
It's just sad. You can't be a teacher without enjoying it and wanting to be one. But yeah, there's so much red tape, and it just takes one small thing to break down in the middle, and it's gone, and you're back to square one.
So can I ask, was it? Oh, you're right, Cynthia. Can I ask, was it Mammoth Rider that got you your agent? Was that?
Yes, it was Mammoth Rider that got me the agent, which was amazing. But it was really strange. So I had always been quite lucky to get quite a lot of full manuscript requests on all of my books. And Mammoth Rider was the same. It had quite a lot of full manuscript requests. And one of them came from an agency who sent me a massive dossier of edits. And I decided to do them largely because two agencies gave me the same feedback. So I was like, it needs to be done. It did also mean there was an awful lot of research to do. And then it got to 2024. And I actually realized that with all of my books, I would send like a couple of submissions out, wait for responses. Inevitably, you'd get some yes, some no, some just calling into the void, and nothing came back. And I'd do about 20 and then I'd give up, which is a disservice to a book that you've spent 18 months or however long on. So in 2024, I went, I'm going to aim for 100 rejections, not 100 submissions, 100 people writing back to me and saying no. And so I was still waiting for the feedback from this agency that I'd sent all the edits back to, that requested the edits. And I started doing just subbing every day to someone new. And I sent to this agent because they literally opened in the afternoon. I sent in the afternoon. Next morning, go onto socials, do my socials for half an hour like I always do. And this agent assistant from an agency that I'd never heard of popped up and went, something really exciting, mammoths in the inbox, middle grade mammoths. And I was like, oh, someone else has beat me to it. And I rung up my husband. I would like to say
Oh,
sobbing, but it was more swearing. And he was like, oh, that's really bad timing. 20 minutes later, I had an email from this person saying, can we see the full manuscript? It was, and he'd actually was the person that gave me the report in the other agency, had moved agencies.
Oh,
Um,
oh,
and so as soon as it came on, they requested it and signed me, which was amazing. So
very
yeah,
oh.
so
good.
it was the Mammoth book, but it wasn't without drama. I was like, oh.
It's so funny that you said that because I thought you were going to say, "Oh my God, it's my book." It's because that's what I would think. I'd be like, "It's mine," and then it wouldn't be my book. So I would have done the opposite than you. Was that on Twitter?
It was on Twitter. I'm no longer on
Yeah.
Twitter, but
No,
yes.
we're not either. But
No.
it was we every time somebody comes on, it's like golden age of Twitter, and I do remember those cryptic agent like
Mm.
Yeah.
posts that you would sometimes get.
This
Um,
wasn't cryptic. There was like mammoth emojis.
oh,
There was nothing subtle about it. But now I've got a copy of
Oh.
it on my phone and I'm like, oh.
oh, that's lovely. So, can
Um,
I ask what took you from YA to middle grade? And did you bob around with picture books in the middle?
Yes, so I did lots of YA and got lots of really good competition successes with it. And that's, where I started. And I love because you can be quite dark with that YA.
mm,
And then I did picture books. Some were almost taken on by a publisher, but just at the last minute didn't. And then there was a stage where YA just wasn't selling.
mm,
And I went on a course at the Oxford University Centre for Continued Education, which is brilliant because it's really cheap and they have great courses. And I went on a course with Nikki Brown which was writing middle grade. And I started doing some middle grade. My first one was about, I didn't realize I like read it to my critique group and they went, are you sure you want to do middle grade? Because do you realize you've just done a funny middle grade about cannibalism? And I was like, oh, have I? Oops. Uh, what?
we'd read that.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, yeah, I
We'd
thought
love
it was
that.
quite funny, but it was like obviously quite dark and I hadn't realized. But I started writing a book about mammoths and I shelved it. It was more prehistoric mammoths. And then actually in 2019, I was researching for a YA book about uh, no, animal. We are animals, but human Neanderthal chimeras, like a modern kind of thriller. And I was reading a book about de-extinction called General De-extinction, but it was called How to Clone a Woolly Mammoth. And I discovered that they were close to cloning one. There was a purpose to bringing them back, or a theoretical purpose, and there was a place waiting to house them. And I just suddenly went, oh, well, that's exciting. Kids will love
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
And I literally wrote a scene that came to my mind, printed it out, left it on the printer. My husband saw it, read it, and went, no, this is what you should write. So
Oh,
it was kind of
Oh.
one of those situations where I didn't plan to write it. It just kind of happened.
Mm. Amazing. So that probably takes us. And can I just ask? Sorry, I've got so many
Yeah,
questions. It's
that's all right.
lovely talking to you. I can't say the word. The thing that you do for your the paleoarchaeology
Or
is
paleontology, yeah.
yeah. Sorry.
paleontology.
Yeah.
Is that did do you volunteer doing that? That's something that you do for fun, like at the weekend, or
Yeah, well, basically, I heard that there was a site in the UK that was
Mm,
amazing for mammoths, not too far from where I grew up, because I grew up in Didcot, which is used to be in Berkshire, it's now in Oxfordshire, and it isn't that far away from the site. And I've got lots of family that live around the area. And I was like, oh, someone's got to know the people that found it. Somebody's got to be able to introduce me. None of my family knew. I was like,
oh,
That'd be like
the use
me.
of you.
yeah.
Useless.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, honestly, I've got a massive family. You all live around there, not one of you.
yeah.
And then I went for a cup of tea at my kind of, not my oldest friend because she's not old, but my oldest standing active friend, if you know what I mean, that I don't
Yeah.
see very often. And she went, have you heard of this documentary? And I was like, got a bit excited. I went, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. She went, shut up, Sally. I work with Nev, who found it. So I was like, oh my gosh. So, so she introduced me to Sally and Nev, and I went to see them go and do a talk at I think it was a WI event, and it was amazing. And turns out, we've got similar interests, and so we hit it off really well. And then when they started to do the uh, the digs, they invited me on, which was lovely. So I do it volunteered. No one's going to pay me because, quite frankly, I haven't got the knowledge. But I do make a really good cup of tea, so that's helpful.
You can't put a price on
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
Sally.
exactly.
No.
And but it was all voluntary. Everybody there was voluntary. So uh, and it was amazing to be in a place where I kind of equate it to the coffee houses of the kind of Georgian area where people would go, or even before that, when they would go there and down to London to the coffee houses, and you'd have all these intellectuals and artists and this amazing hub of people very generously sharing their knowledge and their ideas, and that's
Mm.
what it was like because there's world experts there. There are people that are just interested. There are students. There are and professionals all doing it voluntary, all sharing knowledge, and everybody treated with the equal amounts of respect. I mean, it
Oh.
was just, and it was like literally a little bit like a cult because most of them were staying there in kind of a village of tents, so it had like a festival feel. I didn't. I stayed in an Airbnb down the road because I don't camp, but it was amazing. I feel very privileged to
Oh.
have been there.
Wow. So
Yeah.
does that take us on to the woolly
The
mammoth chat
research.
then? Yeah, the
Okay.
research.
Am I going to cry
I,
again?
are we going to see the tooth again? Is
Oh,
the
we can see the
important.
tooth
Yeah, yeah.
again. Yeah, yes. So this is the tooth.
That's
It's just
it's
so.
just,
So
isn't
this is
it?
the root,
Is it a
and
fossil?
no, this isn't a fossil.
A real
It's
tooth?
it's actually tooth. It hasn't petrified yet. Um, so what they have to do is so this came up from like Doggerland, which is in the Northern Sea, and they will have had to have stabilized it. So they would have coated it to
Okay.
stabilize it, and in the future, if it starts to crack, it will need some more stabilization. But yeah, so this is all of the down here. It's all the bumpy bits to help them
Wow.
really like chew up their really horrible diet because it wasn't a great time for plants, and they would have all been quite tough and horrible. So they had to break it down really well to be able to digest it.
Mm.
But yeah, kids love this.
Oh,
Kids love
So
it. We love it.
yeah,
yeah.
it's
Go for
great.
the tooth.
Yeah.
So yeah, research was great, but originally it was more Dr. Dolittle, so there wasn't much research. And then several agents came back and went, "No, you need to do proper mammoths." So then it was a
Mm.
bit of a
Right.
panic to have to research how they would have behaved and interacted with humans, which is quite difficult because you can't go to a zoo
Mm.
and observe them. So it was um, a case of reading lots and lots of books about uh, paleontology, evolutionary biology, um, of what we know from studying remains.
Mm.
Um, and we do know a lot because some mammoths come out from from the permafrost in places like Siberia,
Yeah.
um, with still fur and with their last meals in their tummies. So we know quite a lot from that. We also find things that are like actual poo. This is a vial of actual mammoth poo, which has been
Lovely. It's
is it
very
called
small.
well, no, this is just a section of it
I was
because
going
it's
to
quite
say.
expensive. I can't
Oh.
afford all of it. And the rest of it, quite rightly, is at a university. So this is has been dried, but it's not coprolite, it's actual mammoth
Oh,
poo
okay.
I
found
love that you said
in,
you can't afford mammoth poo.
Yeah.
yeah, well, not a lot of it. And also it comes from Siberia, and not a lot is coming out of Russia for obvious reasons at the
Mm,
moment.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, but they can study this, and the rest of it is actually at a university in um, Canada. And what they're doing is finding the seeds in it, and then studying the seeds and trying to germinate them so that we can work out how plants grew in the harsh environments of the Ice Age when the temperatures were lower. Because
Wow.
obviously, if we keep going the way we are, we will end up in another Ice Age. So it would be good to know
It's
how we
nice to have a
can.
plan. Yeah.
It's nice
Yeah.
to have a plan. So by studying the past, we can help plan for the future.
However,
Um,
my horror movie brain immediately goes, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't
yeah.
grow that.
Yeah, because
Don't dig
yeah,
that up.
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. But it
Oh,
is interesting to know that you can study the past,
mm,
and it can help us understand and maybe either plan for the future or work out how to avoid those things happening.
mm.
Because the world is cycles. But so it was a lot of that, and also watching documentaries, watching podcasts, reading news articles, but not just about mammoths, about Asian elephants, because they're their closest living relatives. They're about 98.9%, something like that. They are
Wow.
as close to mammoths as we are to chimpanzees. And in fact, Asian elephants are closer related to mammoths than they are African elephants. And we have quite a wealth of knowledge about Asian elephants because they're obviously sacred in certain cultures and places around the world. They've been domesticated for a very long time. They've been used in everything from entertainment, to travel to warcraft. Um, and there are a lot of biographies of people that have looked after elephants, either, ones that have been uh, abandoned or nursed back to health, or people that work in kind of on safaris and look after them. So um, we can use the what we know about Asian elephants and kind of make informed decisions as to whether that would be how we envision mammoths behaving
Mm.
and living, but obviously adapting that for cold climates. And one of the things I did do is I love an emotional thesaurus. I use it all the time for writing. Um, so I created an emotional and behavioral thesaurus for mammoths. So when I got into
Oh,
like a stage and went, we need a sad mammoth or we need an anxious mammoth, I could just go, oh, that's how
Oh,
they behave, and then put it in.
oh,
So
oh,
it took quite a long time to create that document,
mm,
but it actually has been brilliant because it saves so much time when you're
mm.
editing.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
But
Yeah.
So cool. So
So,
mammoths did exist at the same time as human beings, didn't they?
yeah,
So any of the papers that you read or documentaries that you watched, did they touch upon how humans would have interacted with mammoths, or if they did at all?
it's a really weird thing because we know humans and our um, cousins forward slash ancestors, um, hunted mammoths. We know that because we have found huts that are made out of their tusks, out of their hides, out of their bones. We found instruments like flutes made out of mammoth ivory. We know they've drawn them in caves. We know that they had um, a very complicated relationship with them, but we don't actually know what that extent is. We don't know
mm,
if that was, we worship them, they were just like cattle and they were our food.
mm,
We don't really know. And also there are kind of missing bits, like we don't have massive amounts of direct evidence that they butchered them. We're pretty sure they did, but we don't have massive amounts of evidence to back that up. So it is an interesting one. We have no evidence that they rode them at all, or domesticated them, or any of those kind of things. But we do know it was a very complicated relationship and complex one, and whether we'll ever fully understand it is unlikely, I guess. But we history is forever changing. I mean, it's not what happens, but you will know this from your degree and what you're trained in, is our perception and our understanding of it changes with every either document if it's history or every piece of evidence and bone that we dig up. So maybe we will get more understanding as more evidence emerges.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing about dinosaurs in the last few years of, they probably had feathers. And it's
Yeah.
just, I love thinking about these just giant chickens walking
Yeah.
around because
Yep.
that's the closest thing I can think of to a dinosaur is a bird, And so, of course, it makes complete sense that a T-Rex would just have a fabulous plumage.
It would be brilliant, wouldn't it? And
I
also
love that idea.
they wouldn't have seen it in the same way as we do, because birds see in a different way to us because their eyes work in a different way. I'm assuming it'd be the same with dinosaurs, but again, I guess we won't know because
No.
they're all fossilized that we find. But it is fantastic. And actually, I grew up in a house where my parents bred and hand reared parrots for conservation purposes and for the pet industry. I don't really agree with parrots being pets now as an adult, but it was a very privileged childhood to have hand rearing, looking after these amazingly intelligent animals that have the same intelligence as a toddler, and that really, really do kind of imprint on you and are part of the family.
Oh.
And if you see a baby parrot, it does look like a dinosaur because unlike, you get a duck and they come out once they dry off after all of the nasty stuff from the egg is off of them. They're all cute and fluffy and gorgeous. But a baby parrot comes out naked. And so it's like big bulgy eyes, massive big, tiny little wings, just oven ready, really. And they look like dinosaurs. They really do. So it is amazing everything that we're learning.
What's next? What are you going to do more mammoth books, or are you moving on to something else?
Parrots.
Yeah.
No, the sequel to Mammoth Rider. So
okay.
So yeah, I had the delight of an amazing launch party, getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning, and my edits for book 2 landing the next day. I was like, no rest for the writers of the world.
Just typical, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's and there are different Ice Age animals in it, which is great. Of course, I've been writing the first book since 2020.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of time to do a lot of research. This one much shorter. So it's been quite a challenge getting the research done, but it is also very important because, it is a kind of science fiction and active science book. So there is a responsibility to ensure that the science is right. So
yeah.
But it's exciting learning about something new.
Yeah.
And having worked with children between kind of 7 and 11 who would, I can just see them absolutely devouring this book. That bit is important because they're going to learn something whether they want to or not. Like, that just by osmosis. And that's the most fun way to learn stuff, when you pick up a book and you really enjoy it. And then at the end, you realize that actually, about things and it's real. So you can go and talk about it with some kind of credibility. And I just know kids who it would have become their entire personality for a month, They would have just been the mammoth kid. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, I just want it to be entertaining.
Yeah.
But if they learn something, that'd be great. And
Yeah.
there is a non-fiction section at the end. So
Oh, cool.
Oh, lovely.
if they do want to learn more, so
Mm.
at the end there is a non-fiction part where it has non-fiction about neurodiverseness because the main character's got dyslexia, dyscalculia, and dyspraxia. But then it's got oh, and it's dyslexic friendly font. But then it's got sections about mammoths, mammoth cloning,
Mm.
conservation, climate change, and links to places where you can find more information if they want to. So yeah, if they are interested in learning more, there's directions at the back to where they can go and do some self exploration and
That's
find out more.
lovely. Well, we've
Sounds like a
requested
class
it.
project.
Yeah, we've requested it from the library, but there's a request list.
Oh, wow, that's
So,
amazing.
yes. So there's lots of eager readers waiting to read it, which is always lovely.
It's made me so
So,
happy. I
yeah.
love a library.
Aw.
That's so good.
And so between all of your research, are you reading anything for fun at the moment?
I am, but I'm not reading kids' books because I find it very difficult to read the same kind of age range or genre when I'm
Mm,
writing. And I'm quite paranoid that I don't want to like
yeah.
accidentally soak
Yeah.
up their voice or their ideas.
Mm,
So, and I'm still quite a slow reader, but I do read. So, um, I did actually make sure, usually when people say, and have you bought the book that we requested? I'm like, oh, I forgot. I knew I forgot something, but I did actually remember. So, two things was like, I think you guys, when you were talking to Stephen, was saying one of you was into graphic novels
yes.
at the moment.
Oh,
So, I love a graphic novel.
yeah.
My favorite is Fruits Baskets, which is the manga about, I can't say the author illustrator's name, which I'm reading again at the moment, which is
Mm,
23 books, something like that. And it's about a girl who discovers that there's a certain family who, certain members of them are cursed to be the Chinese zodiac. And if their bodies are under the stress or they hug someone of the opposite sex, they turn into the uh member of the Chinese zodiac they are, whether
yeah.
that's a tiger or a pig or a horse or
Oh,
a
Oh, that sounds
dragon.
fun.
And it's amazing.
Mm,
So I'm reading those, but I discovered this at an indie bookshop, and so this is book two,
yeah.
which is gorgeous. I think it's like a YA. It was upstairs. I think it's YA, but
yeah,
it's
I think
about
so.
people with you know, people with anxiety that don't really like to go out and meet people, and about meeting people, and the joy it is meeting people that are like you, that
Mm,
understand you. But then I think it's universal because we all do it to a certain extent, whether we've got anxiety or not, is
yeah.
that then you go home and you spiral. Do they really like us or did they not like us? And it's so relatable and so lovely. And it's just beautiful book and really
Mm.
good book for empathy as well, to understand what it's like to be to have that really extreme empathy, not empathy, anxiety. And it's just stunning. And the illustrations are so beautiful and just so simple.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
So so I'm reading
that
that.
is so relatable. That
It
was a
is.
ghost lying in bed checking their
Checking the
phone.
phones,
Yeah,
yeah, which
yeah.
we've all done, and it's amazing. And the other thing that I'm reading is, I think this might be book five of the wonderful Tracy Whitwell murder mystery series.
Mm.
Have you seen these?
I think, yeah,
no.
I've seen those. I've read the first one.
They're brilliant. So I really love it. So Tracy Whitwell is actually an actress from Newcastle, and she's a similar age to me. So I remember her when I was in it when I was mid-teens, and she was a couple of years older, and she was like the lead actress in some, I think it was Catherine Cookson kind of period
Oh,
adaptations.
Okay.
I thought you were
But
going to say Biker Grove because you
oh,
mentioned
was she in that?
Newcastle. So,
Oh,
no,
I don't
I thought that.
know.
I was like, oh, who is it?
I think she was in the comedy series with David Mitchell and
Oh,
Webb. I
what
can't
peep
remember.
show?
Yeah, she was in that, I think. But anyway, so
Sorry.
no, it's all right. I was so it's basically very, very kind of biographical, I'm guessing, because it's
Mm,
about an actress in her 30s living in London, but she's from Newcastle. Work is kind of not as there's not as much of it as round as she would like. So she takes a job in a crystal shop and she actually discovers she's an accidental medium, which is the title of the first book. And she can
perfect.
converse with the dead. And she ends up um, solving murders with the help of ghosts and spirit guides and ghoulies. And even though she's a bit reluctant to embrace her powers, and she's actually putting herself in danger and some of her mates in danger, but she's actually solving murders and sometimes murders that people don't even know has taken place. But because the ghosts are helping her, and it is funny because she's obviously a similar age to me, so similar kind of upbringing, cultural experiences. So the things that she says, I can completely relate to. And although it's an adult's book, it actually reads like a YA book, which is
Mm,
my one of
yeah.
my sweet spot for reading. So
Mm.
it's really great and so
Oh,
funny.
lovely. I
Yeah,
didn't realise she
amazing.
was an actress,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
author. Yeah, that's
yeah.
interesting. Thank you. So, Sally, if people want to find out more about you and Mammoth Rider, where can they find you online?
Right, so I have my team media doing me websites, which is my husband and my amazing friend Joe Whiten. So I'm very greedy, I have two. So I have mammothrider.com, which is child-centric, book focused.
Hmm.
So on there we have interactive quizzes where they can find out which character they're most like,
Oh,
work out which character guess which character it is from clues and get a certificate in the end if they want to download it. There's also obviously lots of information about mammoths, and there's a section there with educational resources and craft ideas for teachers, parents, carers, homeschoolers, or even children that just want to explore it. So that's like the big book site. And then I have sjpoyton.com, which is like more of a slightly grown up, not that I consider myself grown up, but a grown up author site, which is more about me and writing and neurodiversity and book selling and all of the things that I've done to get to this point and that feeds into the writing.
Lovely.
And then obviously Insta, which I
Yeah.
think is at Sally Poyton. It should be at SJ Poyton, but it's not. It's at Sally Poyton.
we'll link it anyway in the show
Yeah.
notes for
Yeah.
this if anybody wants to come in
Yeah.
and
Oh,
find you.
thank
Yeah,
you.
Oh, this has been so
I
lovely.
know. I feel
I
like
could,
I've had like a lesson and a chat and
yeah.
a little cry.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
provided everything today, Sally.
Yeah. We
Oh,
know what your Achilles heel is now, Cynthia, is like,
Archaeology, who knew?
or specifically mammoth teeth.
Oh, but that too.
I
I
know,
just wasn't
amazing.
expecting it. It's just
No,
amazing.
so cool. But yes,
Yeah.
sorry, Sally. Thank you
that's
so
right.
much for coming on and chatting to us. And I can't wait to read the book when it finally is our turn in request list. And yeah, good luck with it and just the research for book two and getting that done as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to need all the luck I can get to get book two done. So
I
thank you.
know.
And thank you
Always the
so much
way.
for having me.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you. It's been fab.
Yeah.
lovely. All
It's
right.
been
Take
lovely to
care.
meet you
Bye.
both too.
Yes,
Yes,
and
because we've
you.
not met in person, have we?
No, no. Okay. All right. Thanks, Sally.
Lovely.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Browser history deleted.